Today I'm celebrating Emancipation Day, as it is celebrated in Tibet, a country that I wanted to include because of its rich history, and I'm somewhat concerned though that the inclusion of Emancipation Day may upset some people that I know, because the emancipation was initiated by the Chinese Communist Party. It poses itself as having liberated the people. And it certainly does seem that they at least upset a system of serfdom that on that particular day released millions from a life of servitude. Were they happy in their servitude? Was this the misunderstanding of a culture that had found some kind of harmony and balance? It certainly appears that there was a system of royalty and kind of a monastic authority, maybe something equivalent to what the Catholic Church must have been at one point in time. And reading about Emancipation Day left me with many questions. It was interesting to read that the Dalai Lama was actually, who is almost globally, universally accepted as a bastion of peace and this person of extreme equanimity. And there's no doubt that the Tibetan Buddhists have uncovered all sorts of incredible states of being through their practice of meditation. And yet the Dalai Lama was speaking for and trying to reinstigate that system of monastic serfdom that existed. In fact, I think if many people knew that about his motivation, they would probably think twice about singing his praises so widely. And it's interesting because, in recent years there have been certain questionable things starting to arise about him, interactions with young people, for example. But the Emancipation Day, I was drawn to it because of the name. Emancipation, freedom from slavery, freedom from serfdom is something that I'm all about. I am perpetually on this journey of trying to free myself from everything, from the state to the chains that I impose upon myself through the stories that I tell myself, those stories that we learn through childhood and from our culture. So the idea of emancipation immediately appeals to me, although I'm somewhat concerned if emancipation leads to then becoming a member of a totalitarian society which imposes its own doctrines and dogmatism on the individuals that it is there to serve. So I don't wish to be seen as partisan in the celebration of Emancipation Day. I'm neither singing the glories of what came before, which seems like it may well have been a rather dubious system of serfdom, with the replacement with another dubious system of serfdom but in another name. And that's kind of how I see the history of human civilization, is that we seem to swing from one system of slavery to another, just simply changing the names and the flags and the ideologies that they place upon their altars. So today I'm celebrating Emancipation Day partly because I just wish to include different parts of the country. When I'm talking to young people in the field of education about these different festivals, I like to be able to incorporate different parts of the planet and give some sort of window into what the world is like out there. And one thing is for sure is that Tibet is a place with a very unusual geography. It's very high up in the mountains. It has these huge desolate plains, and the people that have managed to carve out a lifestyle in that environment are, just by its very nature, quite incredible people. But it certainly seems the case that in that peace and quiet of the high altitudes and these enormous vistas, They seem to have cultivated a practice of meditation, at least those in the monasteries, which certainly points to a state of being which may well be attainable for much wider numbers than is currently experiencing, a state of acceptance and equanimity. A deep peace and joy seems to radiate from many of those Tibetan monks. So I have no axe to grind here, really, just the opportunity to mention and to celebrate a significant day in a special country's rather unusual history. Today I'm celebrating Emancipation Day.